Yahawashi, Bashim, Regagada, Wada, Yahawah, Babakasha, Yahawah, Vashim, Yahawashi, Shlaki, Yahawah, for my sins as I cry. Kolo Yahawah, Vashim, Yahawashi, Barakatha Yahawah, for your mercy all the time. Kolo Yahawah, Vashim, Yahawashi, Wada Yahawah, for upon all the time. Kolo Yahawah, Vashim, Yahawashi, Wada Yahawah, for the akin that you supply. Kolo Yahawah, Vashim, Yahawashi, Babakasha Yahawah, for your mercy all the time. Kolo Yahawah, Vashim, Yahawashi. Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Obadiah Yahawah, and back at you again with the lesson via Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And I tell you, over the past week now, going into the Passover period, the Pesach that we've been obviously getting ready for and getting ourselves together, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of things happening, a lot of things going on. Let me fix that camera a little bit there. Excuse me. Alrighty, I think we're in good shape now. There we go. All right. Yeah. There's a lot of things happening. In many, many ways, it's just, it's a pinnacle of remarkability in reference to the way that the Father is orchestrating his prophetic timeline and all of the attributes that, of course, coincide with his algorithm of salvation. And just been so much going on lately that it could deem to be, I guess you could call it a form of a distraction that could be leveled or levied against a variety of different situations that's going on amongst what we would consider to be the men in the truth and those that are supposedly bringing forth the accuracy of the word and the truth in totality in general. And we're going to get into a lot of that, but before we do, we're going to give salutations out to the men of the Lord, the Akim on the highways and byways, risking their lives getting out the truth and the knowledge as they are told to do, and as they are so diligently operating under that capacity with Ruach HaKodesh guiding and protecting as it is at this time. We want to give a very heartwarming and special salutation to the apostles who have been diligently bringing this truth out from the beginning, once they were selected out of the One West camp and school, and then brought into the fruition of the accuracy of the truth without measure, as best as they can, through the apostles of GMS. The rest of the derivatives and offshoots of organizations that are struggling with being able to, accurately bring the truth out continues to be very problematic. If you come out of a organization that was blessed with having the first fruits of the first truth that was given in terms of this monumental and spiritually unbridled awakening that Yahawah has performed. This is not a movement of any kind of carnality-based application through what man has come up with or what he has. This is clearly not that at all in any capacity. And, the lesson for this evening that YAHAWAH'S gave me is going to dig into some very deep roots of some of the things that probably are not as spoken of currently and as fluently as they will be this evening, even though I know that the apostles who've been towing this road of spiritual prophetic knowledge for decades, I'm sure they came across this at any given point and probably taught it as well. And reaching back into the archives is something that necessarily will be very important as we go into the future of this timeline of prophetic things being revealed. But the lesson, the title of this lesson is Yahawah's spiritual upgrades and graduations and regenerations to regeneration. Yahawah's spiritual Yahawah's spiritual graduate upgrades and graduations towards regeneration. And that's going to be a very interesting title. It is because of so many things it has to attach to that we're going to talk about this evening. Let me lay out a few things that should be addressed in terms of spiritual maturity and the way we should operate and the way we're supposed to, because we're supposed to be mirroring the Mashiach. So in mirroring the Mashiach, Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushai, through mirroring Yahushai HaMashiach, we're supposed to be operating in a more spiritual capacity amongst all that are been given the measure of truth that we see from time to time as they bring out their lessons, whether they're highways and byways or whether they are, doing it from the unicorn of everything in terms of this internet. We have a lot of what I guess I would call, or what was given to me is consternation conversations as the Lord puts us into and through spiritual challenges in what doctrines are correctly in line with the scriptures. Now, we have a lot of consternation conversations going on as the Lord puts us into and through spiritual challenges in what doctrines are, correctly in line with the scriptures. What does that mean? Okay. Clearly, you see that a lot of the lessons that have been coming out lately have had consternation aspects of, involvement and activity between those individuals that claim to be in the truth and, the eye and the beam that's in each and every eye that we all have is being called out, while we see a multitude of the men of the Lord from various organizations and various camps who, from a cliche perspective, are in these pots. And these are so-called Black men in these pots calling each other in a kettle. I think you get my inference on this, right? They always talk about that analogy. The pot calling the kettle black, the black pot calling the kettle wrong, the wrong kettle calling the doctrine right. I tell you, there's a lot that is not being spiritually and mentally and maturely understood in terms of how this goes. I always say this, and it's because the Most High puts it on my spirit at the level that He does, and man, do I get chastised for it a lot. And in the form of chastisement that I get is probably unfamiliar to some, but maybe quite familiar to a few, because when I experience the consternation conversation going between my brothers in reference to correct doctrine, and then trying to understand the importance of it, and also understanding the timing of it in terms of how it's going and being laid down. It's very important, because there's a lot of things that we seem to be missing the mark on. And I'm going to attempt through YAHAWAH'S, and I praise, worship, and pray He allows me to get this out in the right way, because it's very important. I write notes down. I write a lot of things down because it's important to write your notes to get your stuff going. Now, I wrote down, this is important. I wrote, Yahawah pushes His prophetic agenda at both sides in order for us to understand growing through and past the consternation. Everybody's moves and motives should be spiritually graduating towards your cleansing and purification. I'm going to read it again, because I know that there's sometimes people don't pay attention because they're listening for buzzwords or things that appeal to the agenda that's part of their organization. And if you're not doing what the Mashiach wants you to do, then this will this will offend you, because you're not going to like it, because it will offend you, and it should. Again, Yahawah, the Most High Father, pushes His prophetic agenda at both sides in order for us to understand growing through and past the consternation. What does that mean? Okay. Well, He controls all things, and He's pushing His left hand, His right hand. He controls everything. Everything He controls, He's letting it be managed through YAHAWAH'S. We clearly understand this with all of the staff of angels and all the resources thereof that YAHAWAH'S manages and pushes and uses for the Father. So what is the agenda here that we should be graduating or growing to? Should we not be growing through and past the consternation? Shouldn't we be growing through it and past it in terms of what consternation is going down? I know you have to reprove and rebuke, but you also have to reprove and move, because Yahawah's hourglass of time, and when I say hourglass, my menorah, I haven't getting ready for Passover, right? When He turned that hourglass of time up and it started running, the Father I'm speaking of, Yahawah, now the growth pattern and process of your ability to understand what you're supposed to contend with and what you're supposed to rebuke and how you rebuke it and how you accept it has a lot to do with the growth and the moves and the motives that you should be taking towards spiritual graduation, towards your cleansing and your purification. And this is important, because focusing on how the right ones will be saved and delivered, and not in only worrying about what the wicked's doing and how they're going to be punished. All of everything that's going on has already been predetermined. If you know this and you preach this and you teach this, you all know and say The Most High controls all things, and he made a predestination of everything he dealt with and has invented and created in creation. He has already made a determination. He declared the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end, so nothing is left out. That means everything that's doing what it's doing is because he wants it to do that. And he wants it to bug out, and he wants it to be reproved, and he wants it to move. And if you don't move, then you're disobeying what he said to have done, which is the only sign you're going to get is a sign of Jonah. What's that mean? That means that you can't run from what he's going to do with you and anyone else. Now, we got a whole lot of sheep and goats and everything in between, and rams, and then outside heathens, but we ain't talking about them. Now, the Most High's got so many sheep, so many lambs, so many rams, and every single one of them has a sacrifice stamp right on the forehead. Everybody, me, you, all of us. We all are slated, we all are scheduled for a roast, to be roasted. And when I say be roasted, I mean that not in the sense that these bug outs are talking about somebody roasting in hell forever and all that old nonsense. Ain't I talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that we have to let this flesh go. This flesh has to be relieved of us in order to go to the next phase of your existence. Now, I listened to YAHAWAH'S do a lesson not too long ago. He talked about the fact that the spirit that the Most High created is eternal, which I completely agree. And the only way a spirit can be deleted from existence is if the Most High consumes it back into his self, as he is the creator and inventor of everything that exists, can exist, and will exist. So if he decides to absorb your spirit back into himself and not release it back into existence, then you are basically void of life. You're gone. Now, does it say that he'll do that? Well, he talks about that in the book of Obadiah, that the Edomites are going to be gone for good after they serve the purpose of correcting the things that they've been set forth as the perfect wicked weapon to perform. Yes, the Most High set them forth to be the perfect wicked weapon, and they're performing it perfectly. Clearly, we see how perfectly they're performing it because they have a good measure of deception that they're operating now as their first line wicked weapon they're wielding through the Most High's power in his hand. And as the Edomites and those that subscribe to Edomitation, I could say that a long time ago. Edomitation is like you want to be just like your slave master. And this includes men and women. They like the system. They like the wickedness. And as I said in the last lesson before, they just pissed off that they ain't the ones wielding the wickedness and the wicked stick. They want the wicked stick. They love the wicked stick, even though it's been whooping their ass for the last thousands and thousands of years. They've grown accustomed to the fact that they're getting whipped. They love it. They're way past the Willie Lynch syndrome. They're all way past that. They got there's some new shit going. There's some new wicked stuff going now. And they love it. And they're pissed off that they can't wield the system that the Most High let the wicked out of Job 9:24 wield around the world. They just pissed off they can't do it. Now, some of them are more delusional and thinking they're going to bring it into the new covenant, but you're not. So, hey, be disappointed because you're not. But I'm not going to digress and go off on that tangent. I'm going to get back to what I was saying before. Yahweh pushes his prophetic agenda at both sides in this growing in order for us to understand the growing through the past and into the present and beyond. And also everybody's moves and motives should be spiritually graduating towards your cleansing and your purification. Why? Why should your growing be graduating to that? So if you get into an argument or a consternation with anybody, okay, here's the thing. All right. You are to learn from what you got into in terms of your disagreement with doctrine or your disagreement with individuals, but I'm sticking to doctrine. This is not pertaining to worldly people who are involved with dealing in principles of religious and practicing religious principles and trying to incorporate them in the spiritual realm of the truth that we're dealing with. This ain't for you people. All you wacky tackies who follow religious belief systems and want to incorporate them in your life as supposing to be spiritual and connected to who you call God, you're wrong. That's not it. It doesn't connect to him. You are only being led astray because that was what you were predestined to be doing. So if you're not clearly dialed in and strong enough to understand right now that what's going on is, if you got contention with anybody or anything over doctrine, if you know the truth and the truth is with you and it's right, stick with that truth and reprove and move. Don't keep busting up and badgering people on stuff that you can't control. You can't stop someone from being a bug out that the Most High set in motion to be a bug out. That's just the way they're going to go. And the same thing for secular people in the world system that are believing that they're in some kind of Christian-based understanding of salvation or whatever. You can't stop them from being where they're going to be. This is where they are. This is where they have to be. And this, at this late stage of the game, this is what they have to fulfill. They got to do this. You can't stop them. This is what the Most High selected them to do. Now, you could talk about it. You could bark about it. You could scream and cry and scratch and go all over yourself about it, but you ain't going to stop it because you don't create and you don't control. You just deliver a message, and that's all you're here to do is deliver your message, and then you keep it moving to the next step. So that means you have to graduate, okay, to the point where your upgrade is a graduation towards your regeneration. Now, why do you want to get to the regeneration? Well, we're going to hit many good scriptures on regeneration. We're going to break it out. We're going to talk to a few things. I'm even going to go into the law because I got a few I want to talk a little about the feast of the Sabbath, which is important because a lot of people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay, we're going to talk about a couple of things that are pertaining to that because I got my information on that, of course. We're going to talk about laws concerning times of tribulation and persecution, which is what we're coming across real fast here. It's coming up on your ass so fast you ain't even going to know it. And a lot of times you don't know what your situation is because you're going to be caught wherever you are, doing whatever you are at that time, and then you're going to be dealing with the time of tribulation and persecution, which will be right in your face, right upon you. And if you have not made any preparation to go through it, because the Most High gives directives to do that, so you can't say you didn't. We're going to go and talk we're going to go into Exodus chapter 16 and isolate and talk about some of the things that we are seeing right now that is very evident in the people who are here that were same spirits came out of Egypt. We got them here, okay, and how they were disgruntled, pissed off, unhappy. Father was giving them manna, quail, all this, and they still couldn't get it right, okay? We're going to hit all this, but let me finish what I'm saying, okay? And then I'm going to get into it. This is the portion that you need to really grasp a hold of. Now, pay attention, get something to write with, put it down, write it down, make sure you get this information down right here. This is very, very important. Now, the Most High is he takes us through, as I said, his prophetic agenda in his timeline. And as we go through what we consider to be a trial or a punishment, is not really a trial or punishment or a test. Why? Because if you consider it to be a test, you're speaking in a very low vibration way of understanding. See, what's happening is this. The Most High wants you to graduate levels as you go through trials and tribulation. Like when Yahawashi said, count it all joy when you go through trials and tribulation. Why do you count it all joy? Well, the reason why is because you're supposed to learn from the consternation to the level where you rise above it and you be the bigger spirit, you be the better spirit, you be the more mature spirit, because when you get to that next level, what happens is your conscious and your connection to YAHAWAH'S becomes immensely stronger. You understand? How does it become immensely stronger? Well, it does because the Most High is as I said this before, he provides an infinity. Remember that symbol of the infinity process of creation? Well, he is pure creation in every sense of the imagination to what we can understand, as I did in the last lesson, which clearly means that his perpetual creation process is an education level that your vibration has to go to each time. So if you get consternation against bug outs who have doctrine that's a doctrine of devils that's way off, you can't keep pounding on them. You pound them and then you move and you go ahead and you graduate up, because you're graduating towards a regeneration process where you're going to be more purified and in connection with the Most High and closer to your position, whatever that lot is that he gave you. But you'll be closer to that regeneration process, okay? Whereas when you get to that regeneration process, what happens is then your knowledge base, your spiritual, mature, mental knowledge base, it makes it easier to deal with contention and bug outs and people that the Most High set in motion here. So you're moving through the prophetic timeline in a more efficient manner, up to the specifications that Yahawashi HaMashiach is looking for. That's how you mirror the Mashiach. Okay, because that's what he did. Like I said before, if you notice that Yahawashi, he went through a multitude of transfigurations during the time that he came here, when he was born, as he rose up. And you notice when he went through the temple and he was talking to the Pharisees and all of the chief priests and everyone at 12 years old, they were wondering how he knew what he knew at the level he did when he had went to no school. He wasn't trained in that way. But see, he understood that there was a contention graduation to regeneration, okay? There was a contention against him, but he was graduating in knowledge and maturity that was given to him through the Ruach HaKodesh, which he understood each time he crashed one level of bug outs, he crashed one level of dissension and contention, he went and graduated up to the next level of understanding. And when he got there, he was raised to a conscious level that they didn't understand, because they were stuck with carnality, trying to make it spiritual, which is what you see happening. But the Most High set them up to do this. So when you got other organizations, the purple band leader dudes, the dudes that run around talking about one body and whatever they are, and then of course, the dudes who want to make rap albums, and I don't have to say no names, you know what I'm talking about. They want to make albums, they want to go on talk shows, they want to do all this. They're not graduating to regeneration. They're not doing that. Will they be regenerated at the end? Yes, they will. But see, in order to help and teach the remnant that are starting to be gathered close, if not already done, you have to be able to graduate through consternation to the regeneration process. But you got to get cleaned and purified in order to be able to get to that state. So each time you wash with the word, with the spirit of the word, in understanding, you don't spend too much time messing with people who the Most High set them in that lot. They're going to do that, okay? And so what ends up happening is for you, your vibration graduates up to a level of spiritual graduation and regeneration. It's an upgrade, and you got to continue to make these upgrades in this truth so that you can go ahead and get the work done in the fashion that's necessary as things close out real fast, because we're shutting stuff down. The Most High shutting stuff down real fast as the word goes out. So this is why you have to get into that portion of understanding that. Now, let me go ahead and tap a few things in the law, which I think is important, because we're at that stage of the Passover. And I think it's a few things that we should understand. Now, the feast and Sabbath. So I want to hit a few things, and I'm going to throw a few precepts at you, but I'm not going to go and break them all, run them all down. I want you to go run them down and get in your Bible and get into them. Okay? That's what I'm expecting of you. Not me. I'm doing this. You're going to do that. The feast and the Sabbath. The new moons are to be observed to set Yahawah's feast. That's Exodus chapter 12, 2, as well as Deuteronomy 16:1. See, what my notes tell me is you need to go ahead and copy this. That's why I say get something to write down so you can go ahead and get this, so you can start to see what I'm trying to give you here in terms of understanding the feast and the Sabbath is we're coming into our high holy days, okay? And because we're coming into our high holy days in the new year and the new spring, it's important, if you are new or not new in the truth, that you know what to do and how to do it, because no one's really teaching that. Everybody's all on some other stuff, fighting demons and stuff, which you have to do. But, we got some things that we also need to address as we go into, these high holy days. Like, for instance, you should not let all of these bug outs in every capacity that they're in mess up your Passover. They should not make your solemn, sweet, reverent Passover become toxic and very uninviting and unpleasurable in terms of understanding your salvation that the Most High presented to you. In other words, see, because like I said before, a lot of us focus on all the death and destruction that Yahawah as the angel that came to take the firstborn down, they focus on that aspect of it. But just like in 2nd Ezra, the Most High had the angel tell Ezra, listen, don't worry about what's going to happen to the wicked. Focus on what's going to be for the righteous. Focus on those individuals that are going to be saved and how they're going to be saved and what their method is. The wicked, he already got them covered. And a lot of times, we focus on that portion when we tell the Passover story about the death angel, when we should be talking about the salvation and what obedience is about. Putting the blood on the doorpost, making sure you keep your behind inside when the angel of death is roaming outside, taking out all of the enemy. And also while you're inside and having your Passover, there's praise and worship and prayer and song. I mean, you see some of even the Edomites got that right when they showed you on Cecil B. DeMille's, when they did the 10 Commandments with Charleston Heston, when they had all them devils sitting in there like they were the ones. Not the point that I'm trying to make, but what I'm saying is he said, Joshua, close the door. Don't worry about what's going on outside. Come in, sit, eat, sup, sing, praise to the Lord. See, that's what's up. Why aren't we doing that? How many people have a Passover and actually sing praises to the Lord while they're having that night of Passover to drown out the wickedness that's going on outside while you're inside enjoying your salvation through the Passover that you're having? Why aren't you singing and praising and worshiping Yahawah Hashem Yahushua while you're enjoying that meal, dressed, ready to roll out quick and fast in a hurry with your unleavened bread and everything else you're getting? That's what really happened. But ain't nobody telling you that. They're talking about the death angel. Well, why you worried about that? If you ain't outside getting slain and you ain't the firstborn of Egypt getting slain, then you should be inside concentrating on what? Loving the Lord, praising and worshiping that he spared you and he saved you and he taking you forward. This is what's most important. This is what we're talking about, okay? I told you about the new moons are to be observed to set Yahawah's feast, Exodus 12:2, Deuteronomy 16:1. Now, if you see individuals that come talk about that Friday sundown and Saturday sundown stuff, that's just that. No, because there was no Friday or Saturday during the time when the Sabbath was created. So stop the nonsense, okay? You've been reproved. Now we move. Now, they've been told if they're not changing, then you know what their lot is. They are programmed to be bugged out in that way. Next, the 7th day of every week is Yahawah's Sabbath for rest, and it's a holy convocation. Exodus 23, verse 12, 16, verse 23. All right, next thing, keeping the Sabbath day holy by making preparation in advance. Preparation, see, preparing. If you got to prepare for the Sabbath, what makes you think you can't prepare for the tribulation? Hello? Is anybody home? Okay. Shocking. In advance, Exodus chapter 20, 8 through 11. All right. Remove all leaven from your property by the 15th of Abib. Okay, that's the new year, if you didn't know. Exodus 12:15, which you mean after the Passover, Actually, you should be moved. You already should have moved the leaven out of your home anyway by now. Before once you get into the point where you're a couple days or so away from the Passover, you should have been already got that done, because you know you're going into 7 days of unleavened bread after the Passover, or right in, you go right into it. You know, you go right into it. Okay. On the 15th of the day of Abib, we must teach our children the story of the Exodus from Egypt. And that's Exodus 13:8. We must eat unleavened bread from the 15th through the 21st of Abib, right? Exodus 12, verse 18, right? Now, we know, don't be bugging out on me. We know that Edomites messed up the calendar. We know they jumped all over it with all kinds of Gregorian and Julian and Mayan and everything else that messed up the calendars. But we know in Daniel, he said he was going to do that to look to change time. So we're not going to bug out on that. The first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Passover, is a Sabbath of rest and a holy convocation. Cooking may be done on the feast day Sabbath, but not on the weekly Sabbath. Exodus 12, verse 16, all right? The seventh day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Passover, is a Sabbath of rest and holy convocation, Exodus 12:16. We must count 50 days from the day after the first holy day of the Sabbath of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and the count of Omer to the Feast of Weeks, Leviticus 23:15 through 16, okay? The Feast of Weeks is also Pentecost, for those that didn't know. Is a Sabbath of rest and a holy convocation, Leviticus 23 and 21. All right, the Feast of Trumpets is a Sabbath of rest and a holy convocation, Leviticus 23 and 24. Okay, I'm saying this because these are some of the things we can still do here in captivity. Judges chapter 5, verse 11, practice the righteous acts that you can practice, that you can do, okay? All right? The Day of Atonement is a day of complete fasting, Leviticus 16, 29 through 31. The Day of Atonement is a Sabbath of the rest and a holy convocation, Leviticus 23, 27, 32. The first day of the Feast of Tabernacles is a Sabbath and a rest and a holy convocation, Leviticus 23, 34, and 35. The last great day is a Sabbath of rest and a holy convocation, Leviticus 23 and 36. Okay? Then we got dwelling booths, sukkah, temporary dwellings during the Feast of Tabernacles, Leviticus 23 and 42. Okay? All right, a sukkah must be built, which is, a booth or whatever, a tent, if that's how you're going to get down, okay? If you can do it. Esau, he got ordinances about doing certain things outside that you don't have a license or a permit for. So just to let you know. Built before the Feast of Tabernacles, Leviticus 23:40. Sound the shofar on the Feast of Trumpets, Numbers 29:1, okay? So there you go. That's I wanted to hit you with just the Feast of Sabbaths, okay? The Feast and the Sabbath, so you kind of know what to do. You got a little bit of information. Hopefully you wrote it down and you can go in that fashion. Now I want to go hit this, and then I'm going to get into my precepts and start breaking down some of the things in reference to regeneration, reincarnation, and also I'm going to talk a little bit in Exodus about something that was important in reference to coming out of the Passover, which we see happening prior to and also going into with a lot of the men of the Lord and other individuals that seem to be clashing on doctrine. And of course, that's what the Most High wants them to do, because he got a lot of lambs, so he's got a lot of sacrifices to do. Okay, so let's just see what's going to happen. Laws concerning times of tribulation and persecution. Again, this is a good point to write stuff down so you kind of know where to go. This is like what I'm giving you is information that adheres to and pertains to directives from YAHAWAH'S and Yahushua, because right now things are getting so scattered with consternation going between individuals, camps, and organizations that you're not getting much in directives in terms of what you should be doing. So then if you're not getting things that are giving you any directives, stuff's going to creep up on you, sneak up on you, bite you in your ass, and then you're not going to be ready for anything because you kind of been distracted from a lot of the consternation going back and forth about certain things. You got idiots that want to try to make judgment calls on the righteousness of a man of the Lord has been in the truth for decades, and you're going to make mistakes. That's why I said, if a righteous man falleth 40 times, 40 times, 7 times 7, or whatever you want to bring him back. You want to, roughly paraphrase, you want to give him an opportunity to let the Most High make the judgment call, not you. You don't slam or discredit anyone that's been trying to get in this truth and do this truth and work this truth, because look at the line for those that ain't doing nothing. Look at the line for individuals that's not even, they can't even give you a Bible verse. You go up to somebody on the street. I was watching a TikTok. A guy had a Bible in his hand. Okay, he could have been a Jake. He was in an Edomite package, but he could have been a Jake. You never know. It seemed like he was. He had a couple $100 or what inside of a Bible. He walked up to someone and said, "If you can give me a Bible verse, I could give you this free Bible. You see, or can you just give me anybody?" And see, everybody, no, they turn it down. And see, they so carnality blind that if they had just taken the Bible and opened it up, which one Jake finally did, of course, and he opened up and he saw the money in there. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right way to go, but hey, it was a method to kind of show you that people don't care about the Most High, His word, and what's coming. So they're going to get blindsided and they're going to fall into their own snare. They think they got the answers. They think they have a social understanding of what God is, and they call him God ignorantly. They think they have a social and complete understanding of Yahweh, who they ignorantly call God, and Yahawah, who they ignorantly call Jesus. And so they think that they're comfortable with their understanding and their feelings. So they in their feelings and they're in their comfort zone, and they're not going to move from that. So fine, that's their lot. They've been put there. Okay, so be it. Laws concerning times of tribulation and persecution. It's not that many. It's just a few. Then we're going to break into the precepts. So we're going to talk about some of this, and then we're going to keep it moving. Okay? All right. Our conduct must be according to Yahawah's law during times of persecution. Our conduct. That means how you behave and the way you behave and what you should be doing and behaving amongst your neighbor and your brother and the heathens. Our conduct must be according to Yahawah's laws during times of persecution. That's Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 11 and 12. Now, it says here, the priest must address the congregation in times of tribulation. That's Deuteronomy 20, verse 2 and 4. So you notice that if the priest must address the congregation in the times of tribulation, Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 2 and 4, that means that you should have some directives to give to people during times of tribulation and persecution. Now, if you're focused on other things and you're not able to give any directives to anyone, then that causes a bit of a problem, a big problem when it comes to what direction people should go or how they should operate. So, and if you're a priest, that includes apostles, prophets, teachers, evangelists, all that. You're supposed to be doing Deuteronomy 20, okay, and verse 2 and 4. All right, now check this out. The camp of Yahawah must be kept in a sanitary condition. The camp of Yahawah must be kept in a sanitary condition. What does that mean? If you're not clean, then your camp ain't clean. I don't need to go into details with that. You know what you know whether you clean or not. All right, and it's a manifold way of explaining that, and I'm not going to dig deep into it. You need to understand that. All right, the camp of Yahawah must be equipped with the necessary implements to keep it in sanitary condition, and each must do his part. Deuteronomy 23, 12 through 14. Okay, you see that? All right. Next, all right, stolen property must be returned to an owner. That's Leviticus 6, chapter 6, 2 and 5. The poor must be taken care of according to Yahawah's laws. Deuteronomy 15, 8 through 11. See, I'm giving you information that's in the law that you can do, that directives should be applied to, okay? When a Hebrew slave goes free, the owner must give him gifts. Deuteronomy chapter 15, 12, 14 and 18. Now, that may not apply too much to the way it was in the past, but to now, we all slaves. So we need help. And I heard Apostle Remlam do a little bit of a lesson and talked about tithes and how they adhere to addressing alms and money for those individuals that need help. And that's beautiful, and that's what you're supposed to do. Okay? Loans to brothers must be without interest. Exodus 22:25. Loans to foreigners may be with interest. Deuteronomy 23:21. Restore a pledge for a loan to its owner if it needs it. Deuteronomy 24:12-13. Pay the hire worker his wage on time. See, this is stuff, nothing that Esau does, but this is what we should be doing if we're working with other Israelites. Permit the poor to eat of the produce of the vineyard or the standing grain. In other words, who did that? Yahshua did one on gleaning. In other words, let the poor glean the edges of the field to get food. Don't take your machinery and just clean up every single portion on the edges. Leave that portion for the food and for the widows and the poor. Help a stranger who has a fallen animal. That's important because a lot of times we don't adhere to the fact that all of Most High's creation are precious to Him, and we should make sure that we do that. Okay, all right. Help your brother who has a fallen animal. Okay, you got to help him do that. Lost property must be restored to its owner. Exodus 23:4-20 and Deuteronomy 22:1. Those who sin must be corrected. Leviticus 19:17. Now that borders on discernment, because you don't have any power, but you have power of providing the message to what the sin is if you're not committing the same thing. Now, if you're committing the sin and you're trying to call somebody out on it, but you're doing it, but you think nobody knows that you're doing it, then you're wrong. And guess what? You're not getting away with it because the Most High knows. You may be fooling the person that you seem to be calling the sin out on, maybe, but in most cases you're not, because they probably know you're lying and that you are doing something even worse. But you think you're hiding from it, but you can't hide. But anyway, you don't have to do that, but it says those who sin must be corrected. You don't do the correction. All you do is you give it to YAHAWAH'S Yahawashi if you're not doing the same thing, if not worse. Okay? Love your neighbor, whether a brother or an enemy, as yourself. Now, that only pertains to Israelites on Israelites. It doesn't pertain to anyone else that's not of your nation, all right? And it says here, love the stranger and the new convert among you. Now, the new convert is not an outside entity or an outside person like a heathen or whatever that's tried to convert to your belief system. It's talking about a scattered Israelite that has come back into the fold that was probably raised in another way of knowing not YAHAWAH'S Yahawashi, but when they come back into the fold, they are a new convert pretty much, okay? All right, last one. Use only honest weights and measures. Now that's very important too, and I'm going to leave it on that one as the last one because I just did a lesson before about how this world system and what we're dealing with is all weighed and measured completely for the most part, right? And that's what we're dealing with, all right? Let's see. Now I'm going to go into Exodus 16 because I want, as I said before, I wanted to break out some information on this. This is now precept time, okay? So just get ready and get settled. Again, these lessons that the Most High has me do, you got to take in consideration first and foremost. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to help you to learn something that I'm learning as I'm being taught by YAHAWAH'S Yahawashi and those men that have been taught by YAHAWAH'S Yahawashi in accuracy. I'm not here to do anything more than that. Ain't no frills and seals, ain't no whistles, ain't gonna whistles and bells, ain't gonna be no graphics flying across the screen with all kinds of sound effects. I ain't doing all that, okay? You need to pay attention and focus on what's being given in terms of the precepts and the word, because that's what's being broken down, all right? Just like Passover is not a party, all right? It's not a party. It's a feast but it's a feast of remembrance and reverence and mourning for us coming out of bondage. And you ain't supposed to be worried about partying and acting like a you know what. That's not the move. All right, we're gonna go into Exodus chapter 16, because this is some things I need to address, because the Most High told me to address this in reference to some of the activities that he's having me observe. I told you before, I'm, I guess, the singing servant that is an observer for YAHAWAH'S of the activities of Yasharallah and what's going on with Yasharallah. The Most High says, observe and record and report, and he tells me what to say and gives it to me, and then I bring it out to you. All right, so let's understand that. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 16. Now, this is a time when, okay, they would kind of murmur. I'm going to read it, but we're going to get into the time when the Lord provides manna. But how ungrateful our people are now when the Lord is providing, Yahweh is providing manna right now for us, okay? What is the manna? The manna is the word. It's the spirit of the word. It's the word in itself. It's that food. It's that nourishment, spiritual nourishment and food that we're supposed to be taking part of, just like when you're going to take part of your spiritual food and your physical food during Passover. Are you going to be grateful for this? Or are you going to whine, complain, and bitch and moan about some stuff that you're doing, and that the Most High is not pleased with you're doing, and he's letting you do it because he knows that he's moving his prophetic timeline forward, and whatever your portion of this is, that's what you're participating in. So you might be a big ass complainer. It might be who you are. That might be your job, okay, to just whine and complain and have a whole bunch of aggravation on you. Maybe you have to have a spirit of aggravation throughout this whole tribulation. I don't know. I'm just saying, what is your portion? Okay, but let's see what the portion is with these individuals who had getting manna and they don't understand the meaning behind it. All right, and they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin. Isn't that interesting? Which is where we are, the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so they got through that so far. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. Now, this is what you have going on right now. You got a whole lot of damn murmurers all over the place. They're whining and complaining about, oh, well, no, you wrong on this doctrine, you wrong on that doctrine, you this, you that, the third. And, can't you figure out the Most High wants you to graduate up? To graduation, to regeneration, into another level, another vibration level that he wants you to be to, so you can really do some work for him instead of bitching and complaining about everything and getting to it. Okay. All right. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to power, or would to God, we had died by the hand of Yahweh in the land of Egypt. In other words, they were complaining so bad that they were like, we should have just died in Egypt instead of coming out here. All right. When we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. You see what I'm saying? Already complaining, which is what they're doing right now too. Everybody's freaking complaining that, oh, well, you just brought us out here to kill us. Look, you ain't seen nothing yet. You wait till he really starts getting you off of the liberty that you have right now in this system, and really put your ass out in the wilderness. You better, how prepared are you for that? Just like they weren't prepared. Well, it ain't nothing new. Jake still ain't prepared. Okay? 4, then Yahweh said unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. Which is what he's doing now, okay? And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day, they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. Now this has a lot of spiritual connotation to it. Now, not only are you gathering in the manna of the word, the truth of the word, the fulfillment to fill you up and make you satisfied, but he said you're going to get twice as much. That's right. And it shall come to pass on the sixth day that they shall prepare, which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily, which means you're getting more truth, more revelation, more new revelation, more word, more ability to operate, to go to the higher vibration level. But why are you not doing that? Okay, let's find out. Okay. Okay. And Moses and Aaron said unto the children of Israel at even, then ye shall know that Yahweh hath brought you out from the land of Egypt, brought you out of bondage. He's going to deliver you out of the trouble. And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of Yahweh, for that he heareth your murmurings against Yahweh. And what are we that ye murmur against us? So you murmuring, these people are murmuring against the Most High. They're murmuring against the people who delivering the Most High's message. Man, they're murmuring against each other. They're just a bunch of murmuring monsters. It's crazy. Okay. All right. Okay. So now Yahweh provides even more nutritious understanding, which he's going to provide meat. I'm trying to give you two sides of the understanding here, that you normally do not get. All right. And Moses said, this shall be when Yahweh shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For Yahweh heareth your murmurings, which ye murmur against him. And what are we? Question. Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord, against Yahweh. And see, that's the thing. People who don't want to change who they are and the way they operate as the change is being told they have to. Most High said, look, what I did when I let JC act like he was running the show, let me say it again so you can understand. Most High leads all his creation, those that are his chosen and those that are led astray, okay? Now, what am I saying? He is clearly letting you know he's doing all this, all right? And he said again, now you're going to get meat. You're going to get more than just the bread. You're going to get meat and bread. All right. So, and Moses said, this shall be when Yahweh shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For Yahweh heareth your murmurings, which ye murmur against him. And what are we? In other words, Moses saying, who are we? But compared to you just going right to the source and going to complain. Okay. Your murmurings are not against us, but against Yahweh. Now that's what the brothers got to understand. They're not really coming at you. They're going at the Most High. They're pissed off at him, just like the wacky tacky Christian-minded people and the secular people and the worldly people. They're not really pissed off at us. We're the messenger. Yeah, they want to kill the messenger, but they're really mad at our Father. Because they don't want to do what he said the change is. He's made the change, and they want to stay the way they are. Or they want to say, no, I gotta stay the way I am. I like me the way I am. So, if you can't accept me the way I am, then, I don't want nothing to do with you. Or I'm pissed off or your doctrine's wrong. No, see, you're not mad at me. You're not mad at the men of the Lord doing this stuff. You're mad at the Most High who set the rules that we're following that he gave us because you don't want to do it. You just want to stay in the world like you are because the world is wicked enough for you and you're getting the kind of liberty that you think you like and it's comfortable for you. So that's what you want to do. Stay in that liberty because guess what? You're going to get that surprise when we're telling you and you're seeing that it's being changed, but you don't want to agree with it. You don't want to believe it. Okay, well, just stay like that and let's see what happens. Stand still. You'll see the glory of the Lord. It's coming. All right. 9. And Moses spake unto Aaron, saying unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before Yahweh, for he hath heard your murmurings. Now, see, now you're getting called on the carpet to see the Most High. Okay? He had heard all your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in a cloud. See, I just told you, stand still, you're going to see the glory. So you think you got something going on, you think I'm right and everyone else is wrong, or I know what I'm doing, I ain't doing nothing wrong because Yahweh is working with me and my camp and my people. Well, guess what? Let's find out. Let's find out. All right. 11, and Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, now who did he talk to? Did he talk to the whole congregation of the Lord? Did he call out an individual man or woman here? No. He's calling out his man of the Lord, his man, not nobody else. So don't be trying to act like he's talking to somebody when he ain't talking to him. All right. And he said, and then Yahweh said, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. I am the Lord your power. Okay? I am Yahweh your power. All right? Now, ye shall know that he is Yahweh Shai speaking on behalf of the Father, right? And it came to pass that at evening the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. So he even gave him quail, clean meat, not an abomination. Okay, and let's just see if they're satisfied with the truth that's coming up, right? And when the dew that lay was gone, up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as a hoar-frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna, okay? For they twist not what it was. They twist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. So now, did he give you some other belief system or some other doctrine? Did he give you some other information that somebody fabricated? Did he tell you to take that manna and start to, manipulate it and do something weird to it and then come back and say, this is the real manna, that other stuff ain't right? No, he didn't tell you to do any of that. So when you get the truth, why are you messing with it? Okay, all right. Just to let you know. All right, 16. This is the thing which the Lord has commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and an omer of every man according to the number of your sons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tent. An omer would be like enough that you're not overfilling your arms. Okay, you're gonna get enough to carry in, and it's gonna be enough to spread around, the family. Okay, all right, just roughly paraphrasing. All right, 17. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more and some less. All right, and when they did mate it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Now, let's get into that a little bit. Now, if you go ahead and get an omer of it, right? If you get enough, and it says you get more, you get much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. So you're getting just enough. So that's why when you get taught the truth in stages, you get an omer of truth. And when you have that omer, you study, you work on it, and you build on it, and you get the Ruach HaKodesh and Holy Spirit to work with you and the men of the Lord who know the truth. And as they work with you and get you to a stage or to a place, you have enough and nothing's lacking. And then when it's time for you to get more, you will be at a level where you graduate through the consternation in order to get more and be able to be stable with it, and you won't go off and be coming up with some other weird doctrines that I don't want to hear that. You go crazy. Okay. All right. All right. Now, what was it? Okay. All right. 19. And Moses said, let no man leave it till the morning. All right. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was wroth with them. Now, see, this is what we're talking about here. If you get truth and you stick with the truth, it won't sour. It won't wither and stink and get worms. But if you start to hang on it and say, well, I'm going to add this to it, and I'm going to talk about this, or I'm going to keep it here, I'm going to hide it, like hiding the shekel, it's going to go bad on you. And and people don't pay attention to that, all right? All right, 21. And they gathered in every morning, every man according to his eating, and when the sun waxed hot, it melted. See? All right. Now we're going into of course, the Sabbath time period observed, and that's important to understand. And it came to pass that on the sixth day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord Yahweh hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yahweh. Bake that which ye will make today, and seethe that ye shall seethe, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept until the morning. So you seethe out, you eat as much as you want to eat, and then, the rest of it, hey, you're going to have to get rid of it, all right? And they laid it up till morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto Yahweh, the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for the gather, and they found none. See? And Yahweh said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? In other words, why y'all keep being so ignorant? Okay? All right? All right. See, for that Yahweh hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. In other words, don't be going out searching for something, right? So the people rested on the 7th day. See, it was under a number. It didn't say Saturday. It didn't say any other day. It said a numbered portion of the day. There was no name of the day during this time. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like a colander seed, colander seed, white, and with the taste of it as was like a wafer made with honey. Most High is awesome. And Moses said, this is the thing which Yahweh commanded, fill in omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. Now, this also gives me an indication and a love that if we have to go to the wilderness, the Most High fed the children of Israel in the wilderness, and he will feed any of us that have to go to the wilderness. But, don't be murmuring. And whatever he decides to give you that's good, enjoy it, take it, and then do that with it, okay? All right, and that's what's that's what's important. All right. Where am I? What was that? Yeah, that was 16, right? Did I finish that? Okay. All right. All right. And so, okay, right. And so the people rested on the 7th day, and the house of Israel called the name of their manna. We read that. All right. And Moses said, command to fill. Yep. And you got that one. And Aaron and Moses, 33. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before Yahweh to be kept for your generations. As Yahweh commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept, right? And put it in the Ark of the Covenant, right? And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years until they came to the land inhabited. And they did eat manna until they came into the borders of the land of Canaan. Now, an omer is a 10th part of an ephah. Okay, do some homework, look it up, and get knowledgeable. All right. All right. So I wanted to get that in, and now I'm going to go back into my precepts in reference to talking about the regeneration, and it's important because I got a few things I want to bring out about that. And most people can probably, who've been studied enough, know where I'm going to start off with, because this is very important. And I'm going to Matthew. All right. You know that. I'm going to Matthew 19, in fact. And we know what we're going to read there in reference to regeneration. Matthew chapter 19, and we're going to start at 28. Now, this whole chapter here does bring to light a lot about how you're supposed to operate lawfully in reference to what the Pharisees were doing. And it's concerning, you know, a lot of different issues with the divorce that the Most High dealt with his people. It deals with Shlaki. It deals with YAHAWAH'S talking about blessing the little children. The rich young ruler was involved in this particular chapter in terms of, you know, he couldn't give up his riches to follow YAHAWAH. And then, of course, the disciples' reward, which is more important here in terms of how we talk about our regeneration and what we're supposed to possibly acquire. Okay, so that's where we're going to pretty much start. Okay, all right. That's Matthew chapter 19, starting at I'm going to get 26. But Yahushua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with Yahweh all things are possible. Now all things are possible. And you keep that. That's akin to he's in control of everything. Okay. Now 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? Now that's a good question. There's a lot of people have that in their spirit. Some of them have bold enough to ask it. Some don't. So, and then, okay. And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. Now, let's go over that a little bit, because see, we got a lot of secular people in this world who are, their promiscuity is beyond measure. If you don't know what promiscuity is, look it up. Now, what I'm saying is this, okay? A lot of people get in their feelings and they think that you have to have an obligation to them to make them feel a certain way or be happy. You came in this world without these people. You will leave this world without these people. Whether they are part of your family through whatever measure of lineage or loin, whatever came out your loins or whatever you sired through your loins or whatever you are involved with in terms of any relationship, at this point, if you are a man of the Lord doing his work sincerely and seriously and not slated to be a bug out in the truth, then this applies to you in terms of what you're supposed to look at as the priority first. Priority one. Let's go again. It's not contingent upon Esau's world system and what statue or status you have here, because none of that shit's going with you. Point blank, period. Now I'm going to read it again. So if you walked away to go to the bathroom or whatever you decided to do, sit your ass down and hear this and obey. This is Yahushua talking, who is the manager for Yahweh, which means it's coming from on top, the Father. He ain't talking to nobody but the men of the Lord and the remnant. He ain't talking to all of Israel. He ain't talking to no bug outs or no heathens or nobody who was led astray to get our doctrine and our truth and twist it into their own belief system. It ain't for you. This is for the men of the Lord who are not distractedly bugged the hell out over stuff that the Most High is pushing forward to end us, to get us through the end of this tribulation. This is talking about you definitely moving into the phase, as I said in my lesson in the title, right? Spiritual upgrades for graduation to regeneration. This applies to that specifically, so I'm going to read it again. So pay attention, all right? Now, if you don't like it, take it up with the Most High through YAHAWAH'S, because now you talking against them. Because this is what he said. I'm just reading it. I said it because I'm reading it so you can understand it. But this is what the Most High is saying. And he's enforcing it through YAHAWAH'S. So if you ain't on board with this, then go your own way. And then let's see what happens with what you're working with. And YAHAWAH'S said unto them, truly, which is verily, I say unto you that ye which have followed me, which means you got to be in some way doing this work that he's pleased with. Not Christian church stuff, but this real work, okay? Follow me in the regeneration. In other words, you've been doing this, and then you let this flesh has been gone, and now you regeneration. When the Son of Man shall sit on his throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, all of the men of the Lord that do this work ain't fitting on 12 thrones. Now, you know that. There's a lot of men doing the work, but everybody can't sit on 12 thrones. Okay? So let's be realistic. Let's really talk and speak spiritually mature about the way this gets down. Some who knows who's going to sit on the thrones other than who's already there? Now we know in Exodus chapter 4, there's already some elders on the throne that are worshiping and praising the Most High. How they got there is because they were worshiping and praising. If you plan on being one of these 12, and I don't know, that can sit on the throne, if you ain't praising and worshiping, you ain't getting it. Can I say it again? If you ain't praising and worshiping like the elders are doing in Exodus 4, and also in Revelation, then you're not going to sit on those thrones doing that. Okay? Because they're praising and worshiping to do it. Now down to 29, which is very important, because this is for all the people who want to think that you've been put on this earth to serve their ass. Okay? This part, pay attention. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, now, why could you forsake a house? Because anything that you have here right now, the Most High put it in the hand of his perfect wicked weapon. Did he not? You got to pay Esau for everything. He owns everything. You are renting sin. You're a sin renter, because all the stuff that here is toxic. It's all toxic, man. You got to pay for everything here. You don't own anything. You don't own anything here. You're renting sin. You, me, we're all sin renters. Okay, let's face it. And everyone that hath forsaken houses or brethren, now, not the brethren of the remnant that are in the truth, but the brethren that are walking around being wicked as hell, ninjas with pants hanging off their you know what, crazy ass women who got eyelashes looking like snuffleupagus, all this crazy stuff. This brethren is getting forsaken. Or sisters, people who just say, I'm a Christian, I'm your sister, and I ain't going to be no Hebrew Israelite. Okay, you got to forsake that. It's what the Bible's saying. Or father who abandon people or do stuff like try to kill your mom or your parent or your siblings or do whatever. You have to forsake them. All right? Or a mother who treats you crazy and go off, and if she's crazier than a bag of cats, she got to get forsaken. Okay? Or a wife who bugging out and thinking that she controls you and you her beta male bitch and she gonna tell you what to do and run all over you. She gets forsaken because Christ, Yahawashi, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, told you that. Now, when the Most High let that JC run things, y'all followed him, and now y'all still following JC. But guess what? He don't have no power. He never did. That was the whole time was the Most High. His hand pushing the wicked agenda from the left-hand side of JC and all of the rest of the bugged out people who follow that. All right? So let's make sure, we understand. All right? Or children who are wicked children who are destroying parents, destroying themselves, destroying siblings, like what? What happened to Abel? Cain. He was a wicked sibling, okay? Now, or lands. You think you own some land? Esau stole everything. Most High let him steal. He stole the whole world. So you can't take this anyway. All right. And he said, and lands for my name's sake. Now, you are, he says you're going to forsake all of this for his namesake. Now, is that the namesake of Jesus Christ? No. Is that the namesake of Christ? No. Yeshua? No. Yahweh? No. Ahia? No. None of that. It's for the sacred name, Yahweh, and his son, Yahawashi. It's not for God. It's not for Jesus. It says for my name's sake, sacred name. All right, shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. If you're not forsaking everything for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you don't get any of this. And all of this that you were supposed to forsaken and deal with, it all turns into demons on you. That's what happens. It all turns into demons on you right from the left hand of the Most High. So all the stuff that we just talked about here, that Yahawashi said, and everyone that hath forsaken houses or brethren or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. Those are the conditions and those are the directives. That's the directive, telling you what to do. You ain't picking and choosing. He told you what to do. You have to forsake those things that are being demons and bugged outs to go against you doing the work of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Now, if you are scheduled to do the work, your lot will show that you're scheduled to do the work. And if these things come against you, then it's demonology, they're being demons, they're being devils, and you have to forsake them. Because that's what the Creator said. Not my words, his words. But many that are first shall be last, and last shall be first. So if you got somebody in your life that's pushing their first agenda, it's all about me and what I want and how I want it and when I want it, they're going to be last. All right? It says that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So we're already last because they push back against the fact that we try to do the work of the Lord. We try to do the work of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and what do? Nah, I don't feel, that's not how I feel about it, or I don't understand like that, or no, that's not how God's working with me, or no. See, you ain't called to do the work because you don't follow this. You follow what you think and feel. You a think and feel believer. You ain't in the truth. You a think and feel believer. Just like all the rest of them, whether you supposedly in the truth or not. If you ain't doing it, if you ain't willing to do this at this level, you a think and feeler. And you a blasphemer and you a devil and a demon. It's what the Most High got for you. All right. Now, if you didn't like if you didn't like Matthew, then you're not going to like Titus, because let's talk about that one. Titus chapter 3 and 5. All right. I could actually go up here and read all of this. Yeah, why not? Titus, it's not that much. It's a short one, right? It's only 15 verses, and we can work through that. Let's do it. Titus chapter 3, verse 1. Put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, to be ready to every good work. Now, if you're going to put them in mind to be subject to principalities, powers, and obey magistrates, not the ones on the left-hand side, the ones on the right. The Most High has principalities, powers, and magistrates on the right-hand side, and he has some on the left-hand side that do the opposite, okay? He ain't talking about the left-hand side. You don't want to follow them anyway. They're wrong. And he said, to speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but Gentiles, showing all meekness unto all men. Speak evil of no man. What does he mean by that? Well, if someone is doing wickedness to you, it doesn't say you can't speak evilness to them. If someone's doing some stuff that's trying to be disclosed undercover behind your back and act like you don't know what the heck's going on, he ain't saying you can't speak evil to them, because you are supposed to. That's what Yahawashi said. How about the time when they were murmuring and saying stuff, and Yahawashi, he perceived what they were saying, what their thoughts were. See, he perceived their thoughts. He knew that they were already plotting against him. You don't think he spoke evil against them? Trust me. That's why he said, bring them before me and slay them. Okay? That's Yahawashi. 3, for we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts and pleasures, and living in malice and envy, hateful and hating one another. We all were doing that, but now once you get the word from the Lord, the real YAHAWAH'S, and you have buckled down and you're actually trying to do his work, and you're not subjected to the lust of the things that were out there when you were in the world, hey, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're going to have consternation, but you got to be steadfast. Let's keep going. 4, but after that, the kindness and love of Yahweh, our Savior, toward man appeared. 5, not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy, he saved us by the washing of regeneration and renewing of the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? You see what I'm saying? There's the regeneration right there. Now, see, that's the thing. A lot of us who used to do things, we don't do them no more. A lot of the brothers who used to, they used to smoke. They used to smoke weed. They used to do all kinds of lascivious and crazy stuff in the world. And then you see that they don't do that no more. They've been changed by the Most High. It's not an act. This is not an act. We're not playing. We're trying to practice the righteous acts in a wicked world and wicked system that continuously bombards us. And it makes all of the people we deal with that ain't in this truth toxic. And they become demons, and they come after us, and they get pissed off because we don't do things like we used to. And they get mad. All right. 6, which he shed on us abundantly through Yahawashi HaMashiach, our Savior, that being justified by his grace, we should be made heirs according to the hope of eternal life. Right? He has already shown us that we're going to be paid for everything that we're going to be doing, because we've been programmed and predetermined to do it, okay? All right, this is a faithful saying, and these things I will that thou affirm consistently, that they which have believed in Yahweh might be careful to maintain good works. These things are good and profitable unto men. That's why I said before, Judges chapter 5, verse 11, you have to still practice your righteous acts and have faith in Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, and Mashiach. Okay? But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions. There it is. And contentions. Oh, man. And strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. See, and that's why I said in the beginning, man, this is what was going on. It has been going on when they went against the beloved Ariel, who passed away, and he's in the spirit world and he's at rest with the Father. And no one has the right to make any comments about when a man of the Lord gave his entire life to getting this word out, and then you go and make a judgment call as though you have some power to enforce whatever's coming out of your face. Okay? And you got to, like Yahweh Hamashiach said, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and Yahushua Hamashiach said, avoid foolish questions, genealogies, contentions, and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. Why are they unprofitable and vain? Well, mainly because you can't control it. You didn't make the law. You can't even enforce it. You can't even follow it correctly. So why would you go through all that? A man that is an heretic after the first and second ammunition reject him. In other words, if you got the truth in the beginning and then you started to fumble around and mess with it and try to manipulate the understanding of it, you are that heretic from the first ammunition, okay? And then you have to be rejected, because that's what happens. Knowing that he that is such is subverted and sinneth, being condemned of himself, okay? Now, of course, we had personal concerns that came up after that when it came to Artemis and Tychicus, but we're not going to go into that. I just wanted that portion of it so that you have that understanding in terms of regeneration and the effect of individuals that don't believe and want to come against your ability to raise past contention, okay, and graduate to regeneration at that higher vibration level of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, okay? But, okay, you're going to get contention. So you got to learn how to, take the punches, roll with the punches, and then move up to the higher level, okay? Because you things have to be purged. And that just takes me to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms. We're going to Psalm 65, okay? Psalms chapter 65, and we're going to go 1 through 5, which kind of gives you what I'm saying here, all right? To the, of course, Psalms, the Song of David. Praise waiteth for thee, O power, in Zion, and unto thee shall the vow be performed. O thou that hearest prayer, unto thee shall all flesh come. Okay? Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, thou shalt purge them away. Okay? Blessed is the man whom thou choosest, and causeth to approach unto thee, and he may dwell in thy courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of thy house, even of thy holy temple. See? And that's what we're talking about. 5, by terrible things in righteousness wilt thou answer us, O Yahweh of our salvation, who art the confidence of all the ends of the earth, and of them that are afar off unto the sea. Okay? Which by his strength sitteth fast, the mountains being girded with power. Okay? Now, that was Psalm 65, 1 through 5. Now I'm going to go to back to the New Testament. I'm going to 1 Peter. So go to 1 Peter with me. And I want to read chapter 1, and I'm going to go 1 through 5. Of course, Peter, an apostle of Hamashiach, Yahushua Hamashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Elect according to the foreknowledge of Yahweh the Father. Now, I'm not going to walk past that. The elect. So he's only talking to the elect according to the foreknowledge of Yahweh the Father. In other words, they're already predetermined. They were predetermined from the beginning. That's a purification process that was already set in motion before we were brought into this existence. Now, the cleansing portion has to take place, right? Through sanctification, there we go, of the Spirit unto obedience. Here we go. Obedience means preparation. Prepare. Do something which shows your obedience. Okay? and sprinkling of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Okay? Blessed be Yahweh, the Father of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach from the dead. See that there you go. There's that regeneration offering of love and acceptance and embracement by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, okay? To an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled, and that fadeth not away, reserved in heaven for you. So if you looked at my picture in the post of this lesson, and you saw that spirit just being graduating and regenerating back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You get the image? Work with me. Who are kept by the power of Yahweh through the faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. See? That's what you're working towards, being ready to be revealed into redemption and into rejuvenation and regeneration at the last time. Okay? Now, whereas ye greatly rejoice though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptations, which we are going to go through when the MOTB is put on your ass, as long as everything else that's coming along with it, because everything that's involved with a transaction is going to be attached to it. And if you plan on doing any transactions, if you're not prepared otherwise, then that's what your lot may end up being. Okay? May being wherein ye greatly rejoice though now for a season. So you only got a little season, and we're coming into that season now with the Most High, where it's the new year, and he gonna start levying some things. And okay, and like he says, if need be, ye are in heaviness, which we will be, through manifold temptations, that the trial of your faith, being much more precious than of gold that perisheth, though it be tried in the fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach, which very simply means you're going to have to endure and go through this and give up the praise and worship and mercy, which you will get if you give him the honor and the glory. And don't give it to anybody else but Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, whom having not seen ye love, in whom though now ye see him not, ye believing ye rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of glory, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, which is what they're doing, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what manner of time the spirit of Hamashiach, which was in them, did signify, if it's in you, when it testified beforehand the sufferings of Hamashiach and the glory that should follow. All right? I'm going to stop on that portion there because I got another precept I want to bring out in terms of that deals with the begotten. But I want to go to Ezekiel now because you need to know what you're getting, and it's been said to you before, and we're going to address it, okay? You want to know about that new heart that you're going to get, right? And that new body that you're going to get, that regeneration that you're going to get. You do want to know about that, I'm sure, right? I mean, you probably have been told about it before. I'm pretty confident of that, you know. But hey, it doesn't hurt to tell you again. So we're going to Ezekiel chapter 11, And we're going to go to, of course, 19. I could actually start above it a little bit, but, you know, I do like 15, but, you know, let's see. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. 15. Son of man, thy brethren, even thy brethren, the men of thy kindred, and all the house of Israel holy. See, no one else is being called out here. No other demons, no other nations. That ain't in there. And they unto whom the inhabitants of Yasharallah, Jerusalem, have said, get you far from Yahweh, unto us is this land given in possession. 16. Therefore say, thus saith Yahweh power, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet I will be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. 17. Therefore say, thus saith the Lord God, thus saith Yahweh power, I will even gather you from the people and assemble you out of the countries where ye have been scattered, and I will give you the land of Israel. 18. And they shall come thither, and they shall take away all the detestable things thereof and all the abominations thereof from thence. In other words, you ain't doing none of this wicked no more, okay? And I will give them one heart, and I will put a new spirit within you, and I will take the stony heart out of their flesh, and I will give them an heart of flesh. See, this is the regeneration you're looking for. This is what I'm saying in terms of the higher level through consternation, through the refining fire that you're going to go through. But you have to understand the stages and the levels that you have to overcome when you're dealing with the Most High pushing both sides of his hand, left and right. So you got to understand that portion of it, okay? All right, that ye may walk in my statutes and keep my ordinances and do them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power. But as for them whose heart walketh after the heart of their detestable things, see, you got a lot of people who are walking after the heart of their detestable things, including some people that you're attached to in your life, okay? The detestable things and their abominations, I will recompense their way upon their own heads, saith Yahweh power, saith the Lord God, right? So what he's telling you is all these people who claim they doing things right and they got it right, you got it wrong, and you just an abuser, and you doing this and that and the third, and you know what? The Most High said, you got abominations, and you calling me wrong, you calling the kettle this, that, and the third, but you doing stuff because you don't think nobody know what you're doing, but you're wrong. All right, 22. Then did the cherubims lift up their wings, and the wheels beside them, and the glory of Yahweh of Israel was over them above chariots. And the glory of Yahweh went up from the midst of the city and stood upon the mountain which is on the east side of the city. Afterwards, the Spirit took me up and brought me in a vision by the Spirit of Yahweh into Chaldea, and then them of the captivity. So the vision that I had seen went up from me. Then I spake unto them of the captivity all the things that Yahweh had showed me. And this is what the prophets and the brethren and those is doing right now. They're telling you of the things that are to come, and they're trying to get away from having to continue to chastise you for stuff. But, you know, Jake just loved wickedness, man, and can't seem to get away from it or get out of it. He's just staying in it every way he can. Okay, let me finish in Ezekiel, and then we get ready to close out. You only got a few more to do. Okay, I will close out in maybe Ephesians. You know, what we're gonna see. All right, I'm going to Ezekiel chapter 36. Okay, so go with me to 36. And I'm gonna start at 26 and 27. Maybe let's just see what I like. See what the Spirit likes. And it's not what I like, it's what the Spirit likes. If he likes me to go a little higher, a little lower, I will. Yeah, I think I will. See, guys, that's the Most High right on it. All right. This is so good. 22. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh power, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake. Let me go back and read that again, because a lot of holier than thou, overly proud people in this truth think that this is going down because of what they're into. No. This is the Most High's program, and you better follow. Okay? Number 22, Ezekiel 36. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahweh power, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profane among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith Yahweh power, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. See what I'm saying? Sacrifice. It's going to sacrifice. And they're going to see it. And wicked jakes are going to see it. Okay? For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all the countries, and I will bring you into your own land. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you. See, he's purifying you and cleansing you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit, and I will put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a new heart of flesh. See, I read this already, I'm telling you, but this is important. Okay? All right? And a new heart will I also give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart and out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. See, that's regeneration. All right. Now we're going to go over to 37. So just stick with me. We're at 36, so we're going to go to 37 now. And I got 3-5, 137. Well, I'll just start at the top because, I mean, I'm right there. All right. Ezekiel chapter 37 and 1, and it reads, and the hand of Yahweh was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. Well, you can clearly see right now, including some of the ones who claim to be in the truth, they dry as all get out. Okay. 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? Question. And I answered, O Yahweh power, thou knowest. Again, he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. And that's what's going on, right? Thus saith Yahweh power unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered the bone, but there was no breath in them. Then saith he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, and prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain that they may live. And so I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Okay? So as we can see, the Most High has already predetermined everything he's going to do, and it's already set in motion. No one can stop it. Yahawashi ain't going to stop it. And if you want to graduate, okay, to the regeneration, and you want to upgrade in a spiritual way, you've got to be able to go through, get through the consternation as the Lord puts us into and through spiritual challenges, right? In what doctrines are correctly in line with his scriptures. And you're going to have to know how to discern that process. And as you do, you're going to be able to get to that level of that vibration. And then when you deal with contention, it won't hold you back, and you won't have to go back and forth with these bug outs, because it won't be necessary, because you'll understand the refining process that you're going through in order to be able to raise to the next level. Because Yahweh pushes his prophetic agenda to both sides, okay, in order for us to understand growing, through the past and the present as far as consternation. Everybody's dealing with it. All of the moves and the motives are all involved in it, but you should be spiritually graduating towards your cleansing and your purification process. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Don't focus on what's going to happen to the bug outs. Yeah, you can call it out and tell them what the deal is as far as that goes. And if the elect that are the remnant hear it and they turn, because the Most High predestined them to understand it and come by your path, or however way you meet them. You ain't gonna always meet everybody in the same way, in the same place. Sometimes you're gonna meet somebody that, you go to the store with somebody, you out and about with someone, you sit down having dinner. You don't know how the Most High is gonna operate. He's manifold in his way, and he has no limitations. So you got to understand that, because what you're looking to accomplish is to get rid of your old self and then go into being regenerated, your new self, or on the path to that regeneration. And that's what's important. And I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and close out with Ephesians chapter 4. And that way we can let you go, because I know people trying to get preparations done and get whatever you got to get done. All right, shalom on that, right? Ephesians chapter 4, and I'll come in at 22. All right. That ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which is after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness. See, that's what I'm saying. You want that regeneration to come in your way. Wherefore, putting away lying, speaking every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil, okay? Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the things which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, okay? But that which is good to the use of edifying, that may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit, grieve not the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahweh of power, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Grieve not, right? And let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yahweh and Hamashiach's sakes hath forgiven you. That's the message that the Most High had me give for this portion of the Passover era that we're into and coming into. And Make it a blessed and a precious reverence and a sacrifice of love and acceptance to YAHAWAH'S Yahushua in every single way. And don't let the Passover that you are giving to Yahweh, because this might be our last one here, get spoiled by all of the consternation that's surrounding everything that's going on. Focus on the Most High YAHWAH'S Yahushua, because as it said in the scriptures, it's not about you, it's about him, because in his name's sake, he's providing what it is about you. Oh, hello, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Regazadash, Wada Yahweh, Wada Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Shlaki Yahweh. For my sins as I cry, call on Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua.